Every parsha has its theme. And usually, if you look hard enough, you can find it in the first word or in the title of that parsha. And Vayigash is no different. Vayigash, and he came close. Who came close? Yehuda came close. He approaches Yosef, the king, his brother, but he doesn't know it yet. And why does he come close? Because he's standing up for his brother Binyamin, who is suspected of stealing the silver goblet. And he says, Yosef, or king of Egypt, I need to bring back Binyamin safely. I am his Arev, I'm his guarantor. There is a phrase, Kol Yisrael Arevim Zelozeh. We are guarantors for one another. We are responsible for one another. We have to be there for each other. And Yehuda sets the tone. And he says, I am willing to put my life on the line for my brother. Instance number one. But later on in the parsha, we find it again. Finally, after Yosef reveals who he is, Yosef cries, Al Savarei Binyamin Achiv. He cries on the neck of Binyamin, his brother. Ubinyamin Bachal Savarov. And Binyamin cries on his neck. And Rashi points out, why were they crying on each other's necks? The Savar, the neck, hints to the Beis HaMikdash, to the Mokum HaMikdash, to Mishkan Shiloh. And therefore Binyamin had Savarei. He had two necks, two Batei Mikdashes. And Yosef didn't cry on his own destruction, on the destruction of Mishkan Shiloh, which was in his chelek, in his portion. Rather, he cries for his brother. And his brother Binyamin cries for him. They cry for each other's pain, for each other's destruction, for each other's suffering. That is the theme of the parsha. Kol Yisrael Arevim Zelozeh. It is interesting to note that almost always the parsha Vayigash comes out at the same time of Asara B'Teves. Asara B'Teves is the 10th day of Teves. It's a day that's a fast day, a short fast day, but a very important one. It's the day that we commemorate when Nebuchadnezzar HaRasha laid siege to the city of Yerushalayim. And 2.5 years later, the Beis HaMikdash was destroyed on Tisha B'Av. For 2.5 years, the Jewish people were on lockdown. No one coming in, no one coming out. No one was allowed to leave. They were stuck together. And if you think about it, Hashem was begging them, please, 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 don't you understand the Beis HaMikdash is going to be destroyed? You need to make sure that you care for each other, that the sinas chinam, the senseless hatred, is eradicated, and I'm giving you a chance to prove it. You'll be there for each other. You'll be locked together. Get along. Care for each other. Fight for each other. Love each other. When I was a child, I read a book called Hasidic Tales of the Holocaust, one of my favorite all-time books. And there's a story there that I'll never forget. It's the story of the great Blusheva Rebbe, Rabbi Yechiel Spero. And once he was in the concentration camps, and the Nazis, as they would sometimes do, made a game. Whoever could jump the pit would live. Whoever cannot jump the pit would die. And one by one, they tried to jump the pit and get to the other side. But most of them, because they were weak, because they were starving, because they just didn't have the strength, they failed to make it to the other side, and they were shot inside of the pit. And there was one person standing next to him, and he kept on saying, Rabbi, I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to make it. And the Blusheva Rebbe said, believe, you can make it. I'm holding on to the merits of my forefathers. Believe, you can do it. He jumped to the other side, and the Rebbe made it to the other side of the pit. And lo and behold, he looks to his left, and he sees that this cynic, the person who kept on saying that he's not going to make it, somehow was standing next to him. And the Rebbe said to him, I believed in my forefathers. I believed in the Almighty. What did you believe in? And he looked at him and he said, Rabbi, I believed in you. I held on to you. That's how I made it. And that's what we need to commit to do for each other. Be there for each other. Hold on to each other. And the world will be a better place because of it.